Hi guys, hope you're having a lovely day. I wanted to talk today about just momentum, how when we have manifestation and emotions, how they can build momentum in a certain direction, and how important it is to kind of be aware of that momentum when it comes to calling things into our lives. And so the first thing is do you guys ever notice that things happen in kind of threes sometimes or more? But you'll have, especially you notice it when it's like big bad things. You'll have one thing happen and then another and then another, and it just seems like you're just getting lower and lower and lower, and you're like, what is going on? Like, life was just so easy, and then just a streak of bad. Well, I think that happens with good as well. We might just not notice it as much because bad things can be more devastating and just really uprooting. It can just be a lot. But what I think happens is that obviously when we sit in a certain energy, it calls other things into our life of the same energy. And when something really bad happens, we get in a state of like usually extreme panic or fear or sadness. It's like a really extreme emotion, and because that emotion's so heightened, like loss, I know so many people that have lost a father, a mom, a relative, someone in their family, or a friend, and then next thing you know, their partner of however many years has just broken up with them. And it's just like, what? They would break up with someone after that long? But I really think it has to do with the attraction and the magnetism that we're putting out to the world. If you're feeling lost and just like so low, I have an itch in my nose. I wonder what that means. But if you're just feeling so much loss and feeling so low in life, well, the universe, I feel like, is going to show you other things that you can feel lost or low about. Don't get all worried, because I mean, we all go through these. My nose is so itchy. I never get an itchy nose like this. But usually we never get like, it's not the end of the world. You can change it and you can flip it around. But if we get sucked into feeling lost and feeling so much that we're not actually aware of what we have around us, we're going to materialize more loss in our lives. And this is one of the things that I do when I start seeing myself really get in a slump or a bad feeling emotion, is I just really ask myself, like, what else is the polar opposite? What else could I see that's still good? And we can always find things to still be grateful for. Even if it's the worst case scenario that you could think of, there's something that you can still be grateful for, and there's always stuff that you can still try to be hopeful for. And I think that loss is part of life, and we're going to go through it. And I think that there's times to grieve and to definitely feel that loss and to feel and process those emotions. I'm not talking about just like someone passes away, just party it off, feel good in any way. Like, it's easy to get swept up and want to avoid emotions. I don't think that's healthy. I think it's normal for us to cry and to grieve and to purge. But then we have to accept, and also with the balance of it, recognize why we're grieving and the polar opposite of whatever that is. So this can happen with your car breaking down. I'm just using the most extreme so you guys kind of see what I'm talking about. Because if you can do it with the most extreme thing, then you can generally do it with easier type things. So say you lose someone. Well, you're grieving because you feel like you feel a huge loss because you love that person so much and they were an amazing part of your life, and now you're not going to be able to see them or have them in the same way, at least in the physical. They might be around more than you actually think in the 3D, or you'll be able to touch in and talk to them more now that they're in the higher space. But so with that being, there's so much love. Like, you had so much love for this person that yeah, now, sure, in this now moment, you can't be joined with them and you can't be sharing in those emotions and that, interaction. But there's so much love that was there, and there's so much love that was had, and there's so much beauty that there was that connection, like sometimes we're really sad when we have a heartbreak, but if that person would have never walked in your life, would you know a love that deep? And I just think that's really important when these things happen, especially when someone young dies. It can be really hard because it just feels so unfair. But at the end of the day, like, what did that person do? Did they make a huge change? Did it make a lot of people around them, shift for the better? What good came out of it? And really, you have to keep reminding yourself of the good when you're going through these things, because there's always the balance of the good and the bad. And there's always something to be grateful for, no matter how hard, no matter how sad, no matter how much. But if you go into the playing the victim mode and feeling the victim for too long, you will become the victim. And that's just what I've learned in my life. And it's something I wanted to share because I care so much about all of you, and I want everyone in the world to be able to live without suffering and to be able to be at peace and at ease and to find joy. And I really believe that if there's one person, or if there's something, something happens that's really awful, it can either always get worse because there's always something that could be worse, and it can always get so much better. And there's not just, everything's not just black and white, and we have to be the guiding, I guess, the compass for our lives to decide, are we going to sit in what emotions for too long? And like I said, it's not about not grieving and feeling and going through all that, because that's really healthy and that's normal to go through. But then hanging on for it for months, for years, for your whole life, it's like we can become that person. It can just take over. And even I remember having my house got destroyed by hail. I just bought a brand new car. It got destroyed by hail, and then I think I lost my job or something else happened, and it just felt like I was having like doom and gloom, and I'm like, what next? Like everything just kept, you know, going downhill. And it seems that happens because we just get in a rut, and it can be with money, it can be with love, it can be with loss, it can be anything, but there's usually a theme that's kind of attracting. And if you're noticing that in your life, you can change that. You have to be the decider that you're not going to sit in that anymore. And that's just all I wanted to share with this, because I think that you guys are amazing, and I know that there's potential to change. We get the choice to empower our lives, and there's so much, I mean, I just think it's so beautiful that we get to have freedom to choose, and this is our playground to really create. And it's not woo woo. If you start noticing it and start deciding to try the law of attraction and the law of assumption, and start actually seeing what your thoughts are projecting around you, you're going to know for certain that this is all the truth of how the universe works. And it's going to be really crazy, and it's going to be amazing, because you're going to now be empowered to decide you can have whatever life you want, no matter where you're at. So I hope you like this. I hope you guys are all having a great day. Enjoy your day. Sending much love. Bye bye.